Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a closer look at the stocks on the move today here in Europe. I'm Caroline Hepker with Lizzie Burden, and we're joined by Bloomberg reporter Chloe Millay. Today, we're looking at big defence stocks higher this morning. Who are you tracking? And amidst, of course, a broader move.
Yeah, absolutely. This is all, of course, on the back of that Venezuela situation. And we are seeing the defense industry having a really strong showing this morning with Rheinmetall up almost 7%, but then also really positive moves for Leonardo, Hensoldt, all of those names also up this morning. We're seeing a heightened geopolitical tensions. There's, of course, uncertainty about what the next moves from Trump are going to be, uncertainty about what that means for Cuba and for Greenland. And all of that turmoil is leading investors to kind of rush towards those defense stocks, with the expectation being that all of those tensions will lead to more defense spending. And that's, of course, great news for the companies that make weapons. And this follows an end to 2025 for the defense industry that was kind of up and down, because there was obviously a lot of progress that had been made on the peace deal in Ukraine, and that had sent shares lower across the board for that sector. But now we're starting the year with kind of renewed turbulence, and that means that there's probably further to go for Rheinmetall shares and all of those peers as well.
And Chloe, perhaps on the same theme but a different sector, drill down for us why the miners are doing so well.
Yeah, it's a very similar dynamic here for miners, where we have got geopolitical tensions being always kind of positive for those for names like Glencore, Fresnillo, etc. Because the kind of global turmoil that we see now is pushing investors to pile money into safe havens like silver and gold, and that's in turn boosting the price for precious metals, and in turn, of course, that's great news for miners. And for a company like Fresnillo in particular, we've been talking a lot lately about that company because it's in the really interesting position of being specifically a gold and silver miner at a time when gold and silver are rising very, very strongly. Gold has just posted its best annual performance since 1979. It hit record after record in 2025. And now, of course, with this Venezuela situation, we're seeing kind of another boost for those precious metals, and that's a big boost as well for Fresnillo. For context, the shares rose about 450% in 2025 for that company. So let's see what the ceiling is actually there for Fresnillo.
Okay, well, the markets also seem to have some New Year's resolutions. Maybe buy more chips is one.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's good news for ASML, which rose that morning quite strongly as well, to a record. And that's because of a couple of things. But first, we had an upgrade from Bernstein analysts saying that ASML will benefit a lot from a memory chip demand, which is, of course, driven by AI. But ASML is also riding the wave of quite a lot of enthusiasm in general for tech and AI stocks this morning. There's still concerns about the AI bubble, but investors are still continuing to put money into that AI theme. That we saw TSMC shares in particular, for example, rallying massively after Goldman Sachs lifted the price target by 35% for that company, saying that AI will be a multi-year growth engine for TSMC. And ASML is a big supplier to that company. So there always tends to be that kind of read across where if TSMC is in a good spot and has kind of years of growth ahead, then that bodes really well for ASML. And so we are seeing that reflected in those shares today.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.